listeners, and welcome to our new podcast, Second Take. The basis for this pod is when one editor on our site may have a disagreement with another editor's take on a movie and wants to discuss it. Or maybe that editor is in complete agreement and just wants to talk about the movie a bit more in depth. I am joined on this premiere episode of Second Take by my good friend and fellow co-founder of the viewing screen, Justin Munson. Justin, say hello.
Hello.
The movie we have decided to open up with is one that's had a bit of discussion around our site amidst all four of the regular contributors. Lovely Molly. Lovely Molly was from Eduardo Sanchez, one of the co-founders of the Blair Witch Project. And the synopsis for this movie goes like this. Newlywed Molly moves into her deceased father's house in the countryside, where painful memories soon begin to haunt her. What do you think of that, Justin? Does that summarize the movie, or does that seem a little vague to you?
It summarizes the movie. I mean, they didn't really make a big point of that when we were watching it right out of the gate. Like, I didn't know it was their parents' flick right away. I guess I wasn't quite paying attention, but once shit started getting weird, then I did notice it.
Yeah, and stuff did get weird really quick. Because
Pretty quickly.
basically, Molly's a recovering drug addict whose husband, they're newlyweds, as it said in the summary, is a truck driver, so he's out on the road and she's home alone all the time with these...
Drugs.
Yeah. And weird noises. They kind of go a little supernatural on you there at first. And then they, the drugs, and so to me, I was kind of thinking, well, which is it? What's going on exactly here, guys?
Yeah, they ran it really different. It was the main character, Molly, played by Gretchen. She was fantastic.
I couldn't believe when I looked her up and this was her first movie.
Yeah, you told me that. I was really impressed. Johnny Lewis, the husband, Tim, not so much, in my opinion. It was a little flat, but yeah, it had a very strange vibe to it. Reading reviews on the internet and stuff, most people are just bashing it. It's a waste of time, and I think that you got to look at it a little different. It's not so much necessarily a waste of time. I mean, movies are supposed to be art, so you may not get it all the time, but...
And it was an interesting look at her and how she changed and just went from just kind of creepy paranoid to just full out blown on fucking nuts, dude. She was crazy.
She was crazy, man. She was crazy. And whatever the fuck was happening in that house was crazy too. I mean, I thought it would have been a lot more powerful if they didn't quite use so much sound effects. With the singing and the weird noises, that was a little too much. But when she started recording everything and the doors are flying open, I mean, if you don't, come on, man. Drugs don't necessarily work like that.
Yeah, and you bring up her recording the stuff. I loved the subplot that was going out through with that footage. And it was only as they showed clips of it throughout the movie spaced out that you learned that it was Molly filming it and that she was actually following the woman that was having an affair with her new husband.
I tell you what, man,
that was creepy.
Because we already did say spoilers and stuff. When she fucking hit Tim with that baseball bat.
Oh my God.
I had my headphones on and I'm watching on my laptop, and on my bed, all quiet, and I'm like, holy shit. That was just, I was like, oh my God. And then it did dawn on me that that's who was filming and that's what that subplot was until Tim walked in and saw it. I had no clue. I was just like, I don't get where this is at, but.
And when she is he's on the floor on his stomach and she's sitting on his back and pulls his head up and he says, I'm sorry, and she just drives that screwdriver through the base of his skull.
Jesus.
It was just so hardcore, man. That was brutal.
Wicked.
And then...
And tearing up the priest. Leaving him in the tub. She went nuts, man. She
Mm-hmm.
was not right in the head. And she's like telling her sister, don't send me back. And that was part that I could see how people would be confused. Like, is she crazy? Has she done this before? You know, Tim's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through it again. Sister's like, well, she'll stay with me. I'll put her in the sane asylum again. And she's like, don't send me back. And it's like, holy cow.
Yeah, and she bit his lip off, dude. And she was like biting his lips. That was so uncomfortable, man.
But you got to imagine. Yeah, because it was long. That was a long scene.
Yeah. She's just clamped onto those puppies, man.
She knew then that he was cheating on her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the whole, like, aggressive sexual nature she was giving towards him and stuff, too. You know, I think she knew then, too. So it's like, yeah, I thought it was a good job. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely that Gretchen Lodge, she carried, if anything, she should be able to just, like, send that in to producers and be like, this is how I act, because she nailed happy, she nailed sad, she nailed drugs, she nailed it.
Yeah, she ran the gamut, no doubt. And at the end of the subplot with the camcorder when they dig up the body of the daughter of the woman that was cheating on her with her husband,
Yes.
that was I was not expecting that. And they pull up that dead little girl and I'm like, holy shit. Molly is whew, she killed a
Yeah,
kid, dude.
Molly. But was she
Prove a
possessed while
point.
she was doing it?
Ah, man, I don't,
Was
and
it to
that's
prove a
another
point?
thing
Or was
was
it,
they started off with the whole supernatural stuff like kicked off with the closet scene when she opens up the closet and like she sees something in there that and she reaches her arm in,
well, they did
and
that
that's
with
when
the sister, too,
yeah, at the
after
end of
everything
it
dropped.
they bookmarked it with that, like, so now it's going to happen with the sister. Was it supernatural? Because then also, dude, the thing Doofus was geeking out on when we talked about this was at the very end when she walks out naked and there's like that thing in the shadows that she's walking towards that like with the look like some weird Indian
Yeah, what was that?
mythical something, man. It was then then you're like, what?
Yeah, she was fucking lost, man. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was good, you know. I thought it was well done. I thought she nailed it. I thought it was crazy town. You know, I don't know
Yeah.
that I'll watch it 15 times, but I'm definitely going to get my wife to watch it once because she'll enjoy it.
Yeah, it left a lot of stuff to for you. That's what I love
Like
about
when her boss calls her into the office and shows her the
oh.
video, and what is going on here?
And she's like, what do you think's going on? That I was raped in a hallway?
Like a big joke, yeah. Says it
You're
all
like,
sarcastic.
no, what's wrong with you?
Well, and that's the tough part. Like I say, there is definitely some supernatural in it. If like you asked me about it, I'd say yeah, she was probably possessed. The drugs didn't help, but we don't know
Yeah,
what state her
totally.
dad was in. And if this is the second time she's possessed by her dad, it could be drugs there too, because you don't catch something on camera at the store if she's having. I mean, that was obviously a ghost rape scene of some sort.
Yeah.
So it has to be some sort of supernatural, you know. I
Well, I'll
don't think
tell
it's
you,
just that she's crazy.
if you go to the website, lovelymolly.com, there's a ton of short films on there that
Oh,
accompany and tell some of the story, the
that's right.
backstory and stuff. Yeah, I don't think they're necessary. They're fun to watch and they help fill in blanks and stuff, but it's not necessary because the movie in itself, I think, can stand without those.
Well, it has to be able to. But these are the guys that did Blair Witch, right? Is that what you said?
Well, one of them,
One of
Eduardo Sanchez. Yeah,
them.
yeah, and he's done a lot of. I really enjoy his movies, his and Dan Merrick's movies. That's the other guy. They've still been making solid films.
Yeah, I think it was a solid flick. I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
And if anybody else doesn't like it, well, Doofus didn't like it.
Yeah, well, he liked some aspects of it, but yeah, some of it he didn't dig so much.
I think there was probably some spots that I could see that people might not like it, but I took it for really what it was, and I don't like I said, she carried that entire flick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's the
So
second
there,
take, man.
so there you have it, folks. A short little sneak peek into our new podcast, Second Take.
Second take.
It's hopefully going to be probably, I'm thinking between bi-weekly and monthly. Whenever a couple editors say, hey, let's talk about this movie and record it, because it can never hurt to hear someone else's opinion.
Nah, it's just fun too.
Yeah,
We can talk way faster than we can
yeah.
write.
We love talking about movies.
We
Yes,
can
and
talk
way faster than we write, without a doubt.
way faster. Way faster.
I'm Devon Wright,
I'm Justin Monson.
and we'll catch you on the second take.
See ya.